I want to talk about. I've been observing this thing, right? And I know it's circulated. It's a popular idea that people know already that laughter impacts people's health, right?
Yes.
And increases your life.
Yeah.
But how does envy and anger impact a person's health?
Well, now remember, envy and anger causes the kidneys and the adrenals to release stress hormones, cortisol, epinephrine, and norepinephrine, scientifically proven. So this brings up the stress hormone in the body. This raises the sugar. Now, when you raise the sugar, remember fermentation. So what happens is you get so much sugar raised by the stress hormone cortisol, epinephrine, and norepinephrine in the body. What happens is the sugar have to go somewhere. So it take a lipid route and it goes towards the liver. The liver starts to build up fatty deposits on there because the sugar gets stored up of something called glycagon. Glycagon is a store fat of sugar that's on the liver. So you literally get cirrhosis of the liver. And then remember, when sugar actually go through its metabolic process and go through formation, it creates alcohol. So you have a fatty liver, an alcoholic liver, and you never drunk alcohol in
Just
your
for
life.
being a hater.
Just for being a hater. So literally, if we gonna keep it street, being a hater and having envy, remember all these emotions create molecules. These molecules create chemicals. And that's why you see hatred and being angry and enviness is associated with the liver. Having fear or adrenaline, state of fight or flight, is always associated with the kidneys. You see that happiness is always associated with the heart. That's dopamine. Remember, all these different energy emotions creates a molecule. These molecules create chemicals, and these chemicals are produced by the body. And then that's how you act out your reality. So technically, scientifically, y'all can look this up. Hatred causes liver cancer or liver acidosis. So what I was saying was hatred actually causes cirrhosis of the liver or liver cancer, of fear, of being afraid. That causes the adrenals to go down. Like, and we deal with a bunch of people that have bad kidneys and diabetes that have to, go to dialysis 3 times a week. And when we listen to them or we console them or counsel them, a lot of them deal with a lot of fear. So fear attacks the kidneys, and the reason why is because the adrenal glands releases adrenaline into the bloodstream. Adrenaline then have to go back to the kidneys, and if you look at what adrenaline does in its production, it produces calcification or solidification inside the kidneys. So a lot of people with fear have kidney stones, which robs the kidneys of blood. The kidneys needs pints of blood in it at all times because it needs oxygen. So when you look at fear robs the kidneys of phytonutrients and it kills the kidneys. If you look at hatred and anger, that robs the actual liver and it causes liver cirrhosis. People that lack love in the community, especially the Black community. That's why we have something called emotional eaters, or you eat for love, because love been deprived from our household, especially if daddy's gone or mommy's missing. And then think about what we do. We are so emotional eaters, especially when it comes to sugars or complex sugars. For Valentine's Day, you would give your significant other a box of chocolates covered in sugar, right? Notice the color is always associated with red, which means it's the root chakra. And then if your children do good, you reward them with what? Junk food, candy, sugar. On the birthday, to celebrate the birthday or the life of the child, you give them a cake that's covered in what? Sugar, ice cream, which is going to break down the sugar. So if you look in the community in a psychological aspect, we have replaced love with sugar. That's why when a woman expects love for a man, she expects to get something from it. And usually she wants something that's going to give her that dopamine reward effect, which matches sugar. You're not addicted to the cigarettes. You're addicted to the sugar bomb nicotine that they put in the cigarettes. A lot of people don't know, when you really look at some of the ingredients to nicotine, it's backed by glucose and fructose, sugar, or they put apple bomb in it. You're not addicted to the alcohol. You're addicted to the neurological toxin that's in the alcohol, which is fermented sugar. So when you look at all the things that we are addicted to, for instance, you're not addicted to the actual cocaine, you're addicted to that sugar-like molecule that it gives you. In our last interview, I was talking about the words. Even though they spelt different, they sound the same: sugar cane, cocaine. And notice they have a neurological toxic effect on the body. So we equivalent love with sugar. So people that lack love in the Black community, notice that they have diabetes. They more of diabetics than anybody else because they're emotional eaters trying to fill a void that they don't have. And guess what they're eating? They're eating neurotoxin complex polysaccharides, or what you would call sugar, which is going to drive their glucose up and make their insulin hormone go down, which give them diabetes. You see what I'm saying? So once you really start looking at what's going on, grief, Grief totally messes with the cardiovascular system. Grief totally messes with the cardiovascular system. But when you look at the cardiovascular system, it's closely associated with the kidneys. So there's not one mental illness that you can experience that doesn't have a physical impression on the body.
Bro,
Remember, it's called the molecules of emotions.
When my best friend died, I had chest pains for like a month.
Yeah, grief. It attacks the heart. Or you can see a significant other die. For couples that have been together for 45 to 50 years, and soon as they significant other die, they die 2 days later. Look up the statistics on that. Or I know over 3 people, I study this stuff all the time, where their son died or their daughter died, and they died at the damn funeral. They died at the wake. So you can have grief or have regret or feel so sorry that you can truly physically have a broken heart. And I'm talking about physically, where different blood vessels inside your myocardium or your left or right ventricle of your heart will calcify and break open, because stress raises cortisol. Cortisol raises blood pressure. Blood pressure rips and tear arteries. When you rip and tear an artery, that's going to cause cholesterol to go patch up that hole, and then they have to solidify to rebuild. So calcium will come in, and what calcium do is solidify and calcify. Blood trying to break through calcium will cause an eruption. This eruption is what you'll call an aneurysm or a cardiovascular heart attack.